Okay. We are live, live. Mm. So there was a significant bunch of orders hit on that drop down. We got news in 30 minutes, by the way. That's why I went live earlier. So we had like 300 contracts in that 2203 region, and then it went down, rewarded them, and then immediately came back. And there's a buyer of 200 contracts that entered at 2203. So there's about 400 contracts in this region we're at right now, which also happens to be like settlement, I believe. It's a volume point of control for the session. Getting some huge lots up above at 2215 and 2237. Same with ES, you got a bunch of resting orders up above. Okay.
Welcome to the adventure! Choose your alter ego! Rock! Let's go, bub. Ready! Fight!
Even if that guy blocks, he's getting destroyed. Huh? Oh, no. The amount of hours I used to play this Marvel game, it's like reminiscent, takes me back to like high school.
Let's go, bub. Ready. Fight.
Or junior high school, even when I was at the comic shop. Gamma Crush. Go ahead and check out the stream if you're interested, gentlemen, ladies, if there are any. Hit the like and all that. I want to give out another account today if we can. Let's give out another account.
Let's go, bub. Ready. Fight.
Shoryuken. Hidaka.
Continue. Choose your alter egos. Sakura.
Let's rock. Thumbs up, soldier.
Ready. Fight.
Stars and stripes. Stars and stripes. Stars and stripes.
Danger.
Shield slash. Charging star. Shield slash. Shield slash. Stars and stripes. Gamma crush.
Gamma Crush. KO.
Looks like the volume point and control is holding for the interim.
Who's next?
Beep.
Continue. Choose your alter egos. Blackheart.
Thumbs up, soldier. Thumbs up, soldier.
Ready. Fight.
Stars and stripes.
15 minutes till the red folder attacks.
Continue. Choose your alter ego.
That's stupid.
Ready. Fight.
But
強そうに見えて大したことないのね。
Let's rock. Let's rock.
ちょごめん。
Ready. Fight. Wolverine win.
Rookie. Rookie.
Continue. Choose your alter egos.
alright, we'll turn that off for now. Let's just go to the. Let's see what the news drags in with some coffee. What's up, everyone? All concurrent viewers, thank you for coming on in. Boom, 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 boom. Test, test, test. There we go. So we basically bounced off the settlement at 956. So that was what was the reactionary zone. Settlement from yesterday. So just to give you a breakdown of what I circled here, there's 152 sellers that entered on the drop down there. Another 150, so 300 people sold into that weakness at the volume point of control at 22,003. And then on the push up, the sudden push up, boom, off of that settlement line at the value area low, we came back above 202 buyers, either those sellers closing out or another buyer entering the party at that level. They pulled back, they went up and pulled back into 89 sellers. So those are the players at this inflection point at the volume point of control that we're looking at to see who's in control. Right now, sellers are not in control as of this moment. The 202 buyer at 2204 is holding it until they don't. 6 minutes on the news. Unemployment claims, not a super huge red folder, but a red folder nonetheless. Boop, 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 boop. Let's play some music. Oh, yeah. Wait, there's no sound playing? Let's try that again.
I'm tired, but I'm wide awake. In darkness, I can see your face. When you're with me, there's no pain.
Here we go. Into the news. Play some music.
Vision and you're gone again. And I don't know where you've gone.
And you.
Never told me what was wrong. And I know life will carry on, but I forget how to be strong when the sun goes down.
When the sun goes down.
When the sun goes down. When the sun goes down.
Let's see. We got the VWAP down at 987.
When the sun goes down.
We got a 500 character that wants to get filled at 6,032 on ES. Wanting to drag it down a little bit lower.
And you
And or using that as a push-up to grab those resting orders.
was wrong. And I know life will carry on, but I forget how to be strong
When the sun goes down.
when the sun goes down.
And in less than a minute. Here we go. All the order book cleared. And there you go. Red folder. Order book went dark. A lot of orders want to get swept on the ladder down low here. You got two 500 lots down at the 6,031 and 6,030 on ES. We just hit 100 lot.
When the sun goes down.
Yeah, that was a nothing burger, indeed. Indeedly doodly. So once again, you have those 300 sellers over here at the 22,003 zone, the 202 buyer at 2204. Now you're getting a few more sellers to enter 818 and 89. Thank you for coming on into live. This eternal moment. Yeah, that was back in the day. Okay, coming back above those sellers. Let's see. So theoretically, if this is a delta slingshot, you pulled back into about 436 sell side and then came back on those sellers. So you could see a little bit of a slingshot to the upside. For how long, I don't know. You'd have to clear this 22,004 region and these other 300 contracts at the volume point of control at 22,003. It's an inflection point of sorts. In the interim, anyway. Haven't really expressed anything on the session. 500 contracts on positive delta, and you've come back on a lot of it. Now you're coming back again. Are you going to get a continuation idea after pulling back into some of that sell side? Got some resting liquidity up above here on ES. You had those 500 spoofers let go, so were they getting their fill for as much as they could and then letting go of the suppression to the downside? Same with NQ, you had some laddered orders, only one or two of them got filled. There's a 200 lot up at 22,017, another 345 at 22,037 that wants to get filled. Pretty static. So theoretically now coming above the 22,004, giving the buyers a little bit of strength, or perception thereof of strength. Whoever had the resting order up there at 20,017 pulled it. There's VWAP on ES up at 6,055. Back at VWAP. Filled 3 of those resting orders. Those lots. They're gonna go double tap settlement or what? Brrts. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Basically settlement from yesterday, yeah. There's it's where it like settled for the session. There's like a time frame thing where price closes for the session, and then that's a settlement line at 9:56 basically, and then it just went to 9. It popped. You're talking about where it dropped down prior to that, or where it? Yeah. Yeah, they like dangle. It's like dangling a carrot in front of a horse to try to get price action to move towards it. You know, that's the definition of what spoofing is about. It's like they don't really intend to execute the order, but by putting their interest out there, like the imbalance of the market wanting to trade at fair value can see that order there, and then if there's like a player that wants to execute, it will like drive the price down, but then actually they maybe want to just like passively get their orders filled in this level, and they never actually want to sell, or they never actually want to buy, depending on which side you're looking at. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's hard, like you can't know the intention of the player, like you can only guess, like are they really trying to execute, and then like when they remove it, or like if it reverses at that point, like they could be using that as a suppression, like they can create a sell wall, like you're not getting past this point, like this is just a little bit of my ammunition, you know, like there's bigger players like playing a different battle, and we're just watching the munitions fly, you know. Right, but I've seen like orders placed below to cause it to go up, and then orders placed above to cause it to go down too. Like it doesn't always create this vacuum towards it, is what I'm saying. Like it can also become something that becomes a barrier from that going further in that direction, if that makes sense. So it's not always like one directional in where it's like okay, it's located below, so that means it's going to go down to it. It's like not necessarily. Right. It's all about lining it up with what you're already looking at on another thing, like having it with alongside a system that you already employ. Like it's not a standalone system. Yeah, it adds like a added layer of confirmation to what you're seeing, or something to negate what you're thinking, if you're, yeah. Right now we just came to the 611 volume point of control at 986.75. So this is, you know, I always mark out the volume points of control because it like has reactions off them, if nothing else. From the 11th of June. No, that's the 11th of June only. So the entire day of the 11th of June's volume point of control, I just mark off single day volume points of control, and then it gives you like places where things could react. So we cleared like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was like somebody had put a ladder of orders up, but they got their fill pretty much. Just at VWAP 987. it will execute on the footprint. Like if it says there's 185 and then it goes to that level, and then on the footprint 185 were sold, then it was true. Like they could be fast and sly and pull it at the last second, but then you would see that it never actually got executed. You can remove it on the DOM at any point, but once it goes there, it should execute. Well, it's like aggression. So there's always a buyer and a seller in every single trade. So the buyers and the sellers are always going to, it's all about aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers and passive buyers and passive sellers. So there's passive buyers and passive sellers and aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers. And then who's aggressive and then who's rewarded for that aggression and who's punished for that aggression. And so like telegraphing like the delta or the aggression can give you like their hand, tipping their hand like in poker, like they're kind of showing you where they want it to go. Like there's 89 sellers and 126 sellers, and then it's currently rewarding the sellers, so the sellers are feasibly in control here from these circled levels. So this, as of this moment, the buyers are kind of fatigued in this inflection point that I'm looking at. And then so that's what it is. It's just showing you like who has more strength. So every buyer is getting absorbed into the sellers kind of thing until it comes above those levels. So it gives you like a zone to like, for that narrative to stop being true. Essentially. Absorption is when there's sellers, if they're selling and then it goes sideways and doesn't go in the direction of the seller, which is down, then that's seller absorption. And if there's a bunch of buyers and then it doesn't go up, then that's buyer absorption. And by when I refer to one or the other, I'm referring to the delta, which is the aggression. So the aggressive buyer is the buyer absorption, that when it absorbs them and goes down. Because generally the whales, if you will, or the people in control of the markets are passive players that don't really need to market buy and market sell. They're on the other end of that. So it's when you have market buys and market sells, it's either like huge players just getting out at whatever price because they're done, or they have other things they're doing, and or getting in at whatever price and they don't care, or it's somebody getting liquidated, and then it's contextual from where it hits. Like normally at the very bottom of something you'll see a bunch of sellers, which means somebody had like a liquidation event where the buyer had to forcibly sell at the bottom because they got liquidated, and then it'll like reverse off of that. And there's like, it's just the more time you watch it, the more you like can imagine, like, why would somebody sell the absolute bottom there after the end of the move? And it's like, oh, that has to be a liquidation of a buyer up top. And then at the top of things you'll see like huge buyers conversely. if you exit at the, if you're selling the bottom and buying the top, that's the opposite of how trading works. So that's a liquidation essentially, because you're not, how would you, yeah. Not when it's at a delta seller, because a delta seller would be somebody aggressively selling, and then through the context, if you're aggressively selling the bottom, that means you had no choice but to aggressively sell. Like, why would you panic sell the bottom unless that was a margin call that they just called on you? Or, yeah, you know what I mean? And then it's just like, that's what you see over and 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 over. It's just like, the more you watch the footprints, the more you'll see sellers at a bottom and buyers at a top. Right, but on the other end of that, you have the whales. So that's why on my screen, I'll show you, like, I have these like whales that are passively waiting for the retail guppies to like get their stops hit into their orders that are up top and up and below. So the passive whale is patient, and so they're patiently waiting for those stops to fill their passive orders on the backs of those margin calls and those liquidations. So they get their passive buys off of those sells, and they don't have to pay the market order for the fee, and then they just peel out on them. Right, but if you're getting liquidated, you have to market sell and market buy, because it's the margin call. It's like you don't have any more liquidity, so you're out, and it forcibly closes your trade, and that's what a market sell or buy is to and then if you see a large lot at the bottom. And so like, and then also in the general context, you can see like these like 10 orders, 15, 20, 20, 20, there's all these small lots, and then overall there's like a delta for that 2k candle, and so there's a negative 236 bias, if you will, aggression to the downside, and then another 207 aggression to the downside, followed by another 111 aggression to the downside. And it's not like super strong in following through with that, so that's just another piece of information, like there's all this selling and it's not really like following through, you know. So is that inducing the sellers? Is that going to absorb sellers and go up? Like, it just makes like, it just gives you a better read on what's happening inside, like who's trying to be aggressive here. And in each of these 2,000 trades, there's more sellers that are trying to push this down aggressively at the VWAP and at the volume at that volume point of control. And here you have on ES now that 500 lot appearing again at 6,050. Yeah, they were previously doing it down below. Now they're doing it up above. And then when it appeared, it started to drop down. So they're like, what does that mean exactly? Like, I just noticed when they enter, like, there's these big players that in recent times, when they enter above a thing, it kind of suppresses it down, and when they enter below it, it kind of pushes it up. So in this case, it's kind of becoming a pressure to try to test how far they can push it down until it's gone. You got these war fears too, so it's although it's pretty it's not as bad as it was a couple days ago. Hopefully no curveballs are thrown. But yeah, it just like, And then when there's nothing there, like when there's nothing, no volume, then there's no interest from me either. It's like I like to have like a context where I can kind of like see who's in control from those little characters, so I can be like, okay, this is going the way I expected or not.
was our place. I felt you there.
We're about
I know your presence, and I'm not scared. Your arms around me.
well, this big player is not technically entering. They're using their large thing to dangle to cause price to do stuff. Yeah. Entering their interest, yeah, like telegraphing their interest or whatever you want to call it. And then there's like other algos, but then there's these static orders that are just there from before. So is it like, are they trying to accumulate or reaccumulate, and they're trying to push it down to see how far they can push it to reaccumulate their thing? Like, I try not to get like biased about the thing. I just use the interest of the players in the current moment, like this negative 206 and negative 236, negative 207, negative 111. Like, there's definitely more pressure being applied by the sellers at this moment, and they're not really like following through past this level. That's for sure. Like, it's not going below this 611 volume point of control at the moment. You basically came to like a previous swing low and that settlement, and then bounced off that. Or we could just chill in this idiot box until open, who knows. We got half a minute on the hourly close, so that's one. The battle for the wick on the battle for the hourly close is underway. So, and then after that, the opening wick. There's like time-based stuff involved with what goes on. Yeah, that was a pretty lame folder. I don't know. Maybe it's 30 minutes after. All right, how really closed. what else am I looking at? I mean, I just use previous volume points of control, opens for the day, daily open, previous week's highs and lows, all that stuff is like key levels, previous like current like London lows and highs and all that. There's previous swing highs and lows, like basically using all of these other key level is like if it hits a key level, then like it's time to go into the context of what's happening inside then to see who's like what interest is generated there, kind of. There's also math. There's a math aspect to it too, like it pulls back to like a 786 or a golden pocket, like if I take this impulse from yesterday, like, and then I pull this, and then if I make it into a pocket thing, yeah, it came up to like a 786 level and rejected off of that. If I go to a deeper retrace, it nearly came to the 786, but it came back and did that. It rejected off of that from London and then pulled back into New York. And if I take that retracement of from Asia all the way to now, and then I do like an equilibrium thing or even like a pocket level, it went between, it's basically came to the 50% level and it held the 50%. It could theoretically come back and test this daily open. That would seem more realistic in terms of like a C wave down to test the open. And that would also line up with a deeper retrace into the 706 and stuff. So there's like mathematical things you can look at as well. But I like, why did it bounce here as opposed to down there? Like that's when I started getting into like previous day volume points of control. Like there's a 612 and 611 volume point of control right in this region that we're bouncing off of, or holding rather. So this theoretically could also be a key level. So I have all these like points of interest and key levels that I just mark out so I don't have to do it later. And then I have them in a folder in trading view. So that's basically what your kill pips and everything, that's what they're doing most likely, is they have these old volume points of control, and when they line up, they and they just don't label them that way for you, because then they'll give you the insight so you don't have to pay them monthly. Oh, so that 500 lot, it'll tell me on Bookmap if it fills. It didn't fill, but they pulled it and they moved it up to 6,050. So they lost their resolve to put that, like maybe they had their suppression idea, like they got their fill of whatever, and then it's now wanting to go up from here. It pulled up back on that those 89 and 126 sellers that I had circled, and it bounced off a VWAP. So it's just all if-then statements, but then it's like I don't have to guess, like, okay, if it comes back above this 22,202 buyer, then the buyers are expressing a little bit of something, and until they do that with fortitude, like, it doesn't really feel like it's like a solid long. But like I would take a theoretical long at 22K with it pulling back on this thing, on these sellers, and that's all I do is like I'll take that, like once it stops rewarding the sellers, then it's rewarding the buyers, and then you can basically like keep your stop tight or whatever from the lots that you have circled, because if it goes back and starts rewarding them again, then you don't it's no longer that theory anymore. So it allows like a higher risk to reward. Sorry? Because a seller wants it to go down and a buyer wants it to go up. When you when they're no longer being rewarded, they're being punished, which means it's going against them. So if it goes against the guys that are entering for hundreds of contracts at those levels and it goes above their entry, then they're being punished and not rewarded. And so you can use the theory of those guys against them. Like they want it to go down and then it's no longer going down from their entry, so is it going to punish them? And then so that's what I mean by it's a twofold question. Like, where are the aggressors and are they rewarded or punished for that aggression? And that's all you need to ask, really. And then that tells you who's in control. It's all tick based or trade based, so it's not time based. So it's from what, like an hour ago, basically? Yeah, an hour ago. So these guys have been in for an hour and you're not seeing an aggressive. They could have laddered out with shorter orders down below, but then they could be accumulating a buy, and it doesn't really matter what they're doing. All that matters is that when it starts coming back above that aggressive player, it's no longer rewarding them. It's as simple as you can condense it down into, like, distilled down to the basic premise of what it is. And that is, like, if it goes above their entry, it's no longer rewarding them. And yeah, and right now it just like paused at that 202 buyer. So until it goes above that volume point of control and 202 buyer, it's not really showing the buyers stepping up just yet. And so it keeps me from like painting a story that's not true, you know, like only irrefutably it will be true when it goes above that volume point of control and that buyer at 22,004. So now the buyers are starting to express a little bit of interest, and that's irrefutable. Like, it's not my opinion, you know. And then and I've seen that so many times that it's like now I'm taking that on like a Top Step Express funded. We'll see if it like plays out, but I'll just put it at the bottom of this one guy at 995. We'll see. Let's just see if it plays out. Well, they went and swept about 200 orders on ES at, what is that, 6,047. Got another 100 lot at 6,050, and the 500 player now moved up to 6,055. So they're trying to gravitate it up by the looks of it. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. We only have like 20. I don't like being in trades before the open though, so unless I'm like handsomely above my entry, so I'm not really extremely confident in this right now. But until it goes below the volume point of control, basically just trusting the process. And then you see there's like a 60 buyer that bought 22,009, and then if I'm in a long, I don't like really seeing buyers because that becomes dead weight to my idea of going up, because then they have to pay that guy by going up more. I mean, theoretically, it could be a seller from down here that they're turning into a forcible buy as they liquidate them, but yeah. It's just like, I'd like to see it move faster and hit more buyers up above, but I like catching momentum. I don't like being in the trade for too long. For me. Well, now it's going against me, so I'm gonna take this in the anus, but we'll see. There's now 798 at 6,055. They're not really following through. I might just kill this because I don't want to be in the trade before the open. It doesn't just start going off this guy now. Yo, what's up? A muffin. Sounds good. What type? Blueberry? Blueberry. Donuts. What else do we have for news? Let's see. Do we have anything? I don't think so. Something with crude. And then some Bank of Canada thing where they just spray maple syrup on each other or something. And then there's, wait, FOMC minutes? Wait, that's tomorrow. Sorry, that's tomorrow. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm getting my, like, it becomes tomorrow for me, but Woohoo. What's R26? Oh. Freedom. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to just exit this because it's approaching the open. button, but I'm just like, all right, we're out of that. No, I'm not going to play with that. No thanks. In what sense? Like you were going up? Oh no. That's cool. That's pretty crazy. It's crazy that everyone found this place through like friends of a friend and stuff after the 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 uh the missing channel, let's just say. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to understand how stuff works. I'm definitely like assist. That's important. Respect my authority. Mommy, I have chicken pot pie. I can't do it right now. Now it's going in the direction I hoped before. Lovely. I mean, it was I thought it was a low hanging fruit, but it was just sitting there. So I exited prior to the open because I don't want to get reamed in the anus. So, yes, that too. I don't want to get spleened up. Filet mignoned. There was that guy that was like Mr. Horse or something. Did you hear about that? There's a guy that he recorded himself, let's just say, getting spleened by a horse. And then he died from that. And his friends took him to the emergency room, and there's like a whole documentary on it because there's this apparently this whole like underground of people like recording themselves do that because they like to watch it or they I don't fucking know. And he was just like an accountant or something. So can you imagine just some guy who's like a regular Joe Schmo, but he's like into like figuring out where people like leased out their horses if you survive. But they have like a apparently like it was like a club or whatever, so they would help each other because you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself, so you need people to help you to insert or whatever the heck. The equestrian club. To join a new type of quest with the equestrian club. They talked about it on Joe Rogan because him and like his comedian friends would send videos of it to each other. I never bothered to watch. I don't care to. But he was no, I think his name was like Mr. Hands or something. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Rogan has a lot of weird interests apparently. Joe Rogan. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'll find the no. There you go. No, it just says Joe Rogan tells Shane Gillis about Mr. Hand. Saddle up, partner. Probably. For sure. Hey, they won't like show you anything, but I think they watch it off screen or something. Maybe CNN watched that when they said he takes horse dewormer. Got 3 minutes basically. Well, they ready. Are you ready? Oh, Jonesy, it's in my profile. No, like their link to the YouTube or whatever. Yeah, right. Like, what would put that? You can click the three dots like not interested. There's a lot of you have to curate your algorithm like a bonsai tree. Like there's some people that are like, what do you call it? There are a whole lot of like rage bait kind of topic title like fake, opinion people, and I just like, nope, don't don't have the time for that. You got to be able to like cut the fat. I play it for like in half an hour. I can afford half an hour. I just think in the social media world, a lot of people use what do you call it? They use a lot of SEO optimization, like AI generated stuff, and then they say is like some but libs getting owned by blah blah blah, and then it's like it's not actually anyone getting owned by anyone. They just want you to. I can see that. I don't know if those dumb narration ones like are annoying too. I click those not interested one when I get those two where they pronounce like something completely wrong. And the market. Hot mic. Polly? Polly Shore? Okay, so we're coming back towards the seller guys. Time to go. Mm-hmm. And doodly doodly. And we're off. What's up? Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yep. Nice. Mm-mm-mm. Daily open at 927. Just hit a 80 lot seller. Some there was a 117 buyer that entered off that zone. If we come back up to the settlement, winning hit that volume rate imbalance. All right. So, yeah. Coming back into value area low at 954 after hitting that bunch of sell side. We gonna hold this settlement level. Booyah. Okay. That's gonna peel off that. Okay. So we'll just let the runner do its thing then at this point. So it came back to the daily open and bounced off a daily open. So that's the theory I took for a long, as well as seeing those buyers step up and get rewarded. Runner up 90 ticks. Coming back to the Monday mid and the volume point of control for the 12th. Can we burst through? Ticks on the runner. No, Doc, sorry to hear that. Oh, that was like a 30 tick pullback. Either way, the runner's gonna do what it's gonna do. Not touching it. There's a 1,000-lot player playing the spoofing game on ES. He's up at 6,047. Six Juanita. They went from 1,000. See something, say something. VWAP at 982. Looks like we're going for the VWAP. Whopperoo. Burger King Whopper. Nice. That's cool. Yes, sirree, Bob. Hitting some buy side up here at the VWAP. Wop wop doo bop love and boo. Boogie boogie tutti frutti on the way. Wop wop doo bop VWAP bounce. We created a volume imbalance on the way up, and then there's another volume imbalance on the way down that we could go aggressively back to. But do we go back to this first? That's 960. Oil. Okay. R2D2. Goes and wedge the guy who crashed into the Death Star. Stay on target. Stay on target. Yeah, it's going for that volume imbalance on NQ2 like at 22,005, it looks like. In it to win it, up 190 ticks on the runner. Burned. I get burned into. I opened it at 21,951.75. So I was like, yeah. It was like coming back above the value area low after rewarding the buyers, and it came off the daily open, so I was like, let's see. was that daily open that I was talking with somebody about that? It was like it was a 618 golden pocket zone too. Had overlap with the daily open. Golden pocket. Alright, we hit the volume imbalance. I'm up 200 ticks. Do I just take the money and run here or what? I'm going to trail it aggressively. Why not? I'm going to just trail it aggressively. Booyah, 227. It's just too strong. Like, oh god. Do I just close it? I'll close it, whatever. I'm $1,330. Not bad. Cha-ching. All right. I'm gonna play. Yep. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna play around. But it's freaking strong, dude. It's just bursted up. Oh my goodness. Nice. Do. Bounce off the like if you just put a resting order at daily open, you'd be like what? You'd be up like 100 points. Mm-hmm. Previous day VWAP at 22,043. There's a bunch of resting orders on the way up there too. ES has that 1,000 player trying to tell it, like, use the carrot to dangle it further up. Does he get filled? He's, oh god. Oh, it went and filled the 1,000 lot. Wow. Somebody was happy getting out there at 6,056. I don't think they. Nice, Dave. Good. Yeah, that after that 1,000 lot filled, it was. Yeah. Boom. Pulled back on like 483 lots there. Boom. It was a rejection off of VWAP too, on Bookmap anyway. The VWAPs differ, it seems. The SMA 200 on Renko. Doodle-doodle-doodle-doom. Yep, we got 3 minutes until the hourly close, and then the other algos take over and from London. Let's see, where are we at in a key level area? Nothing really. We came back above the break even. Do-do-do-do-do. Cryptos are. They must have some dirt to coerce them into green, like Epstein files or something. Pull back to the volume point controls. Not really hitting. That was just a jitter to say, get off me or something. It's an elbow to the face. A spleen. The spleening. Spleen mignon. Bounce off that 611 volume point of control. Interesting. Who would have thought that would have been the inflection point? I guess it's technically the open of the last hour. Lovely. Sweeping that resting liquidity up there at the 2240-ish region. Looks like turning a lot of into buy side here. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Sellers turning into buyers. Damn. What does oil trade at? Let me check that. Damn. Wow. NQ was pretty textbook on the volume imbalance recovery bounce in terms of a delta slingshot idea. If you took that, that was pretty decent. Did somebody say juicy? Juicy. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I can't hear. Is he? Are you just looking at stuff or what? Oh, you just stopped. You're like before you say anything, and you were just looking at. Ah. Really? Wha- if they're in this chat, like looking for that one moment where they're like, got him. Like they put up with a lot, you know. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. There's nothing wrong with loopholes. That's crazy. Boom. Then we got that news in 15 for oil. I think the inventory, so that's why it's like everyone's getting out or whatever. I don't know enough about it. That's crazy. Shebang. She bangs. She bangs. Ism, schism, cataclysm. One K. I agree. Agreed. That's all that matters if it pays for the losses. Have a good one, man. If anyone wants to get a free eval and you just hop in the stream and comment on yesterday's video, we can do another free giveaway. If anyone's keen, of course. Got to get it to like 10 or something, as usual. There's nothing really up here except the previous week high at 22,106. There's 149 on ES at 6,075 or 6,080. Another 83. Another 150 contracts at 6,085, and then another 174 at 6,100. Doubt it's going to go that high, but there's a lot of static orders on ES to the upside. NQ vying at 2270. Hitting about 140 in buy side here at 57. Previous like rejection zone. $205 buyers. There's some buyer like possible fatigue here. Could pull back. I'd watch longs here. I don't know if they would be buying the top here with, unless it's just hitting the shorts out. 312 buy side hit in that last 2,000 trades. Oh, wow. They went for the gold. Went up to 20,000, 22,070. No hesitation. Trend is to the upside. This hourly is looking pretty decent for the 20 minutes into it we're in. Hit another 300 with that burst up there. They're going for short squeeze-a-roo. That 162 on ES at 6,075 looking more interesting. There's another 490 spoofer that just entered real quick at 6,071. The next target is basically the other range up at like 22, 128. So there's not really much in this zone. You could juke out both sides, but it looks like the upside is the target. Previous week high 106. Volume point of control at 173. Monday high at 22,222,225. I'll stay till the half of the hour, but I'm still feeling kind of under the weather because of my son, so I've got to get some more sleep. And we're already up, so. How you doing? Good? Right. Yeah, summer's gonna pick up for me soon. I gotta like finish my worksheets and stuff. Thankfully, they're paying for it this time. I gave them the ultimatum. I'm like, you're not getting a summer program if you don't pay for it. How's that? Yeah. The thing is I enjoy buying stuff, so they're gonna get the like most obscene. Like I got a desiccator to like remove the air from like a jar, so I could show kids like that sound needs to travel through a medium. So the bell jar experiment where you have a bell ringing and you suck all the air out and the sound dissipates, and so they can actually see that that's true rather than me say it. It's like, who goes to that length to go get like a vacuum chamber and to actually know what they're talking about? You know what I mean? Hitting more buy side here. There's a 454 guy at 6,071 on ES that's about to get swept. He's not moving it, so he's going to get swept. They're going to be like, you want to get filled? Here we go. We're going to fill you. It's going to burp up on him. Watch. It's too late for him to move it. He's just like, no. Well, tomorrow we can all, if you guys want to aim, I want to give out another eval, but I need to have some sort of like reason behind it. So if you guys want to leave a comment on this one after I end it, then it will enter you to do it. I just don't have the energy to be like self-promoting, but yeah, if you kind of need to be to do YouTube, um but yeah, if you want to comment and like and all that stuff and then join tomorrow, then I can hopefully get up to 10 and then we can give away another eval. They just swept the 500 and even they are absorbing the sellers, going on through to the other side. Step on through to the other side. On the squeeze is continuing. Next target 6,075, 180 contracts up there on ES. And Q swept the 70s like I was saying, and now the next target is at 2290 ish. And the key level zone up at the previous swing high at 106. Yeah, yes, sir, Bob. Yeah, it looks like it coincides nicely with the previous week high. So coming up to that previous week high is generally something that has some sort of reaction. So yeah, that's interesting. It's pretty much every time it pulls back to these trend dots, boom, get in, boom, get in. It's just trending to the upside. I would not short this just yet. Ooh, is it going for the 90s? The 80s are generally a thing, a zone, by the way. If like you hit the 80s, it's kind of like it has like a premature reaction off the 80s. It has a hesitation at 80s for whatever reason. Pull back to the trend dot. Getting some bullish divergence, maybe. Super trends holding. Cloud is holding, still pointing to 2 o'clock. Strong still. Yeah, I mean, you have this 130 lot at 70. If it fades this guy at 2270, I wouldn't stay, you know, if you're scalping this, I wouldn't stay if it starts to fade the 130 and 81 character here. Needs to hold these buyers at this region here, or it's fatigue on the buyers. But the last time there's a 200 buyer, it just popped up more. So it's just every pullback has been a bounce. That's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't short it. Again, now 236 at 6,075 on ES. Yep, it looks like it's going to be just going upside. More strength breaking through. It's nice. This is very reminiscent to back when it would actually trend, you know, where it's just like it goes a direction for a day, for at least for an hour, you know, rather than just sideways. Yeah, if it's going to be a genuine like pop up on the buyers, then it should do it here, unless it's entering into a short phase, in which case you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So just take it should just follow through and not go below like 76, theoretically speaking. You got a 93 lot at 22,100 even too. That's been there for a while. That 235 order at on ES 6075. Boo, 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 boo. Nice. Here we go. Getting a just turned some seller into 125 buyer at 2290. They forcibly liquidated somebody. That's just what they keep doing. They just keep using the shorts as fuel to buy a higher range for them. And they passively exit on their carcass. Yeah, that was pretty good. They didn't hit the guy just yet at 95, but it's a hop, skip, and a jump. And it's jumping. Hopefully you guys got some decent moves out of that. Once again, the previous swing high for the week is at 106. And that is a pretty strong trend. You don't want to go against those 2 o'clock angles like that. Yeah, that 159 lot at 90 getting kind of heavy. Well, on that note, I'm glad everyone hopefully is green for the day, or green enough. And let's try to get some viewers tomorrow, hopefully, and then we can give out another eval. Dave, I'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Catch you later, guys. Bye. Yep.